Hello everyone. Today we're going to go over mapping and online tools. This is just to simply demonstrate the mapping techniques as well as online tools that are available to you. When analyzing stream health, it's important to take a holistic view of the entire watershed. To do this, it's important to understand the boundaries of the watershed and locations of impacts to water quality that could be within it. So in this chapter, we're going to talk about the importance of watershed mapping, topographic maps, and online tools. Alright, so let's jump into the importance of watershed mapping. So understanding watersheds is essential in order to interpret the stream health and water quality. Everything that occurs within a watershed is going to affect the water resources that are there, and stream health depends on a healthy watershed. When thinking about the water quality of watersheds, it's good to also think about the different land uses that make up the watershed that's going to inform the water quality. Natural environments have a slower overland flow due to trees and plants that's going to help the water soak into the ground, filtering it before it enters the stream, and also resulting in greater recharge of groundwater areas. Whereas urbanized environments, they tend to have rapid overland flow, and that results in a higher runoff of water into the stream at a faster rate and without that water filtering itself before it enters the stream or creating any groundwater recharge. So mapping your watershed has a lot of benefits that come with it. You can use it to identify different sources of pollution that could be in the watershed, also to help figure out where you want to monitor, and it's going to help you have a lot of educational value whenever you're talking to your friends and other decision makers in the community to help you make informed decisions about what's going on inside your watershed. You're going to want to select a manageable size. So if your watershed's too big, sometimes that can get sort of hard to deal with. So you might want to select sort of a sub-watershed within that one. And again, our goal is to help show those boundaries that are defined by topographic lines within the watershed, as well as the land use that's in the watershed, so that you can know where you want to sample, help you identify those sources of pollution, and again, make informed decisions in your community. So topographic maps represent a specific area called a quadrangle. It's just a four-sided region that's bounded by any particular latitude and longitude on the Earth's surface. And they are showing the shape and elevation of different features on the Earth's surface by what are called contour lines that illustrate different levels of slope on the map. And we'll show you all this in another slide, but each map is also going to include a scale bar that represents the distance on the map relative to the distance that you would see if you were there on the ground at the surface. And they'll also have different symbols that show boundaries for things like counties or different surface features, buildings, roads, and other symbols that represent communication features like that. Here's some symbology that you're going to want to familiarize yourself with when looking at a topographic map. And this isn't a complete version, but you can find more at this USGS website if you're interested and you need more explanation. Here's a section of a topographic map, and you can see pointed out here are some contour lines. So the contour lines, again, they represent elevation changes on the map. And the darker ones are going to have the specific elevation, generally in feet. And then the lighter intermediate ones are not going to have a number associated with them, but you can deduce it because they all go down or up in specific intervals. The contour lines should never cross each other, and the closer together they are, that represents steeper terrain. So over here, In this area, you can see all these contour lines are closer together, and over here they're closer together, so this shows a steep hillside, maybe even a cliff, whereas these areas over here are showing elevation changes further and further apart, which represents not as steep terrain. Contour lines can be demonstrated using a hand and a fist. So if you take your hand and ball it up into a fist and then draw parallel elevation lines from the top of your knuckle all the way down, that's showing the 3D picture of what you're seeing on a contour map. So if you were to lay your hand out straight and still see those lines, that's what you're seeing on a contour map. There's also something called rules of V that represent valleys and ridges. So valleys, the top of the V or the tip of the V is going to be pointing upstream from the direction of flow. Whereas a ridge, if the top of the ridge is an enclosed, sort of irregular oval, it's going to be, the V is going to be pointing downhill from the ridge. Alright, so here we've got different features that are going to be shown on a topographic map. We've already talked about the contour lines. Then there's roads. There's water, so those are the ones represented in blue, the stream, different lakes. Also got towns, so Lower Village and Stowe are a couple different towns represented, and then the green areas that are kind of grayed out is more forested. Here's what it might look like if you wanted to translate a topographic map to what you would see in real life. If you were standing here, you would be located here on the picture on the right. And you can see that there would be a house there and this giant where all the topographic lines are closer together, shows the steepness of this hill. You've got a ridge top here, another ridge top here, and then these ridge lines going up to Ian Ridge and then Baxter Gulch. So here's a depression where here is a hill where elevation is increasing. So using a topographic map, how do you go about outlining a watershed? You're going to start with where the most downstream section is that you're interested in, and that is represented here by this star. And then you're going to mark all of the water, streams, rivers that is going to be flowing into this downstream section. And then you're going to want to put an X or mark somehow all of the ridge tops that you see surrounding the water features. And then you'll just go through and you'll connect the X's following the topographic lines. And that is how you can outline a watershed. Here's some places that you can go to screenshot or download your own topographic maps, so you can do this yourself. First one is the Missouri Stream Team Interactive Map. We have a base map gallery that includes topographic maps over the entire state, over the entire nation actually. You could also go to the USGS website. They have topographic maps available. Also, MU or Mizzou's Ag Assessment has a topo layer on their website as well. So if you Google any of those, you should be able to find more topographic map resources so that you can do this yourself. So aside from using physical hard copies of maps, let's talk about different online mapping tools that you can use to outline your watershed. So the first tool we're going to talk about to evaluate the watershed that you're interested in is the AGSITE assessment with the University of Missouri. So if you go to AGSITE.MISSOURI.EDU, they'll have an AGSITE assessment tab that you can click on. It'll pull up a map. Basically, you'll just click a point on the map. You can adjust the size of the site area that you're interested in, and then you'll just hit this Generate Report button right here. And that will basically pull up a report that's going to have a lot of information in it for you to sift through. So it pulls back information like just a summary of the site location. It'll pull up local demographics, the hydraulic summary. So this is what watershed or multiple watersheds your site could be located in. And you can click the links of the number. Every watershed has a number associated with it. And if you click on the link to that number, it will pull up a PDF of a map of the entire watershed that the site is located in. So that's a very convenient way to figure out the watershed that you're in and a map associated with it. They also talk about environmental concerns, different soils that are there, and a climate summary for the area as well. So this is a really nice tool. Would definitely encourage you to take a look at it if you're interested. How's My Waterway is another resource online that you can use to map out your watershed. It also has a lot of really good information that you can find about the water quality in your area. Once you search your water body or your location, it will pull up a dashed outline of the watershed area, and it's an interactive map, so you can click on the water bodies or different symbologies within the map, and it will give you information about maybe permitted discharge features or impaired waters, so you can just gain a little bit more knowledge about the watershed features. So now we're going to talk about some online tools that we have for you, like our Stream Team Interactive Map, USGS Water Data, and the Stream Team website that's going to just help you understand more about the program as well as get the resources that you need throughout your monitoring journey. If you go to our Stream Team website, mostreamteam.org, you can access water quality resources and tips to help you in monitoring. You can order new equipment. You can submit your activity reports as well as your online data. If you're looking to get involved with other stream teams or other things going on with the Stream Team program, you can go to the calendar of events and see what's going on in your area. You can also submit your own event with the calendar of events, and you can also access our interactive map. The Stream Team Interactive Map can be used to view and find locations that have had Stream Team activities on them. That's represented by the blue logo. They also can be used to view and find water quality monitoring sites. That's represented by the black logo. In the past, we've also been able to have the data accessible on those VWQM sites available to the public, but we're currently in process of revamping that feature, so it's not available right now, but you can contact staff at streamteam@dnr.mo.gov if you're interested in having access to any or all of the data on the sites with the black icon. So let's talk about how you can submit a site using the interactive map. Using the search bar, you can search a stream or a location, and just like Google, it's going to give you a bunch of different drop-down options. So here all we needed to type was Ruby-Doo, and we can go to the Ruby-Doo Creek, and we'll show you how you can scroll and zoom to where you need to be in order to show where your site is marked. A pop-up box is going to appear above the map, and if you hit the zoom to button, it should zoom to the Ruby-Doo Creek. The zoom to feature may not zoom all the way into where you want to be for the extent of your site, so you may have to pan or cruise the map around the screen a little bit and zoom in a little bit more to where your site is going to be located. You can also, using the base map gallery, change the imagery that's on the map to topographic or satellite imagery. Here we've changed the base map to imagery so that we can clearly see what we're looking at, and our site is at the top of the screen, so we're just going to drag it down a little bit so that it's in central view. An accurate description of your site location is very important, and it's really great because the interactive map has a tool that allows you to measure in feet or miles of different landmarks to your site's location, using things like bridge crossings or tributaries. You can also use the map measurement tool to see how long your 300-foot stretch of stream is going to be for your site. At this point, you can print the map and mark your location by hand, or you can select the draw tool and place an icon on the map to denote the center of your site's location. So here we've selected a pin and increased the size so that it's more visible on the map. Also, using the draw tool, you can select the add text icon to create your site description to add to the map. Now your map is complete. Before submitting, make sure that the extent of the map shows all the streets and all the different features that are needed to locate your site. There's a couple of different ways that you can print your map if you want to. The first one is just by hitting Control P. This will make sure that the whole extent of the map is visible on the page. You can also use the print tool that's at the bottom of the map, but sometimes if your site description is too long, it might not fit on the entire page. You can access some information about the sites and their data by using the information located within the icons themselves. Here is the Stream Team logo, and this indicates an activity that's been reported with the Stream Team program. The dark black VWQM logo indicates where a site has been monitored for water quality at some point. When you click on a Stream Team activity icon, you can see the activities that have been done at that location. Here, for example, water quality monitoring has been done in this location. If you click on the black VWQM icon, you should be able to see water quality data and hit the More Information link to take you to the data that could be on that site. You can also contact staff and give them the site IDX number that's right below the More Information link button, and we will be able to provide you with the data on that site. We could also add you to that site if you're looking to adopt a site to monitor. Our desire is to have the data accessible to the public in an easy way. This is how we've done it in the past, where you can click and view different chemical parameters or visual survey parameters for a specific site. And this is kind of what it's looked like in the past, but again, we're revamping this feature, so this is not currently available to you, but again, you can reach out to staff if you would like to have access to some of this data. You should be able to see chemical data or visual survey data in some kind of table or accessible way in order for you to gain an understanding of what's been monitored at that site and the different parameters that will tell you about the water quality there. So once you've found a place to monitor and you've got your map, you can send that map to us by email or by snail mail, whichever you prefer. But we need the map with your name, the county, the site number, whether it's your first site or your second site, the name of the creek, and a site description that's going to use permanent landmarks like bridge crossings or tributaries. And if you're adopting a new site, again, you can use that IDX number from the interactive map to reference the site that you are wanting to adopt. This is an example of a site that you could potentially turn in. So it's got the site marked there with a star, and you can see that it's on the Ruby-Doo Creek. This is by Chris Riggert. He put his Stream Team number on there, the site number that's relative to him, the county, and then the site description is 1/4 mile downstream from Highway 17 Bridge, as well as parallel to Pippin Road. So this is just an example of a site that you could potentially, something similar that you could potentially turn into us. USGS is a recommended source that you can use before you go off and venture into your stream. This is going to help reduce unexpected surprises that you might see, as well as ensure that you have a safe discharge in your stream before you go out and monitor. USGS offers water data online to you. Not all streams have a USGS gauging station on them, and not all of them measure all parameters, but it might be good if you've had a recent rain event or a recent snow event and you want to see if the floodwaters have recently receded or if they've gone up before you go out and monitor. So from this home page for Missouri water data, you can click on a gauge on the map and view the available data there, or you can hover over the points on the map and it'll display the stream name and the location of the gauge. By clicking on the point on the map, it'll take you to a gauge that displays graphs of all the data available at that particular gauge. Common data to be displayed is gauge height, the discharge, and the precipitation. You can also change the dates and view a table format instead of a graph if you want. Just scroll down on the page to view the available data. This is an important tool to monitor river levels for your safety. As a reminder, the discharge data available on this site can be used to report on the discharge data sheet only if the gauge is located on the same stream within a half mile of where you're taking discharge, with no inputs or outputs, meaning no tributaries coming in or leaving the stream. So if you report using this data, you have to report the gauge station number with your flow data. So whenever you record your discharge data, you're either using our VWQM protocols or using a USGS gauging station that's within a half mile of your monitoring site, and there are no inputs and outputs between the gauging station and where you're monitoring. Please don't forget to fill out one of these anytime you conduct any stream team activity. This helps us to track the volunteer activities and time and assign dollar values to these so we can represent what you guys are doing out there and what it's worth. There was over $3 million worth of effort in 2015 alone. This really helps us to justify the program and funding, travel, time, and all the materials that we provide to you and all the other dedicated volunteers. Alright, let's wrap it up by going over some review questions. How are watershed boundaries defined? They're defined by the highest elevation points that are surrounding a specific drainage area. What do contour lines indicate? They indicate relief or elevation changes on the Earth's surface. Where can you find the interactive map? You can find it from the Stream Team website. When can you use a USGS gauging station for stream discharge data for your monitoring site? You can use it if it's located within a half a mile of your site and there are no inputs or outputs coming into your site. Alright, thank you guys for watching. You can contact us by any of these email addresses or places to go to on the web. mostreamteam.org is our website. You can email streamteam@dnr.mo.gov or streamteam@mdc.mo.gov. You can also find us on YouTube and Facebook, and that is our program phone number.